Hey everyone, it's me Tasha, and today I want to talk to you about information overload when it comes to small business. It's pretty funny. As of recently, I feel that as a woman entrepreneur, I'm actually bombarded with information on how to run my business, how to grow it, different ideas and tactics. I mean, that's what I do. I teach y'all that. But I feel like there's an alarming amount of information now out there. And something that I see in my comments on social media a lot is I'm being overloaded with information. How do I dissect which information is right for me as a small business owner? How do I take it in? How do I leave information and everything else? So I'm going to tell you what I do actually. And it might work for you, it might not, but I thought I'd share. So one of the things that I really to be honest, I really don't consume that much information as I used to. Now that I'm going into my 7th year of business almost, I've learned that not everyone's advice is my advice of what I need. Funny as I say that, I'm giving you advice. But I like learning from skin in the game, as I've talked about in previous videos. I like getting my hands dirty. I like doing one-on-ones. I like learning what works for me best. And not to knock others out there, but a lot of people that are churning out this digital content have never actually run a business. There's a difference if I was telling you how to launch an online boutique and I never had one. I've actually ran an online boutique. I'm a service-based business, so that's why I help other service-based businesses. I just don't understand people that give advice that have never walked in your shoes, that never walked that mile or run that mile or had to deal with you've had to deal with. I've had to deal with the crazy customers, the sweet customers. I've had to deal with UPS, USPS, the FedEx, everyone. And I know what it's like. I know when a website crashes. I understand all that. That's why I do what I do. But I have learned that I am selective of who I allow to pour into me, if you get what I mean. I don't allow everyone to pour in their information, share their information, and everything else. Everyone has opinions and that's great, but you need to be selective, very selective of who you allow to pour into you. If you're just starting out a business and you do want to get help, you want to get every free resource possible. I tell people when I first started, there was a Borders in Uptown Dallas that I used to go to like almost every day. If I wasn't in Highland Park at the coffee shop, I was there, and there was like a window sill on the 2nd floor. And I would grab a whole bunch of books and magazines, and I would have my legal pads, and I would write there, or I would be sitting in the corner writing. And I was taking all the free information I possibly could, because at the time I could not afford to hire someone. I didn't even know that you could hire someone technically. And I was gathering all free information. And those free books, resources, they're still out there. And that's great, but who do you choose to work with in that sense? I say, Inc. is always going to be one of my favorite people to refer people to. They have a great website. You can get the magazine right now during the holiday season for dirt cheap and get a year subscription. They will always be like my #1 source to tell people, because they're true and tested, and they just been around and they know what they're talking about. I will say that you have to be selective of what you read in there, because not everything is built for the solopreneur. They're sometimes talking about people that have teams. I mean, I have a team, and that's great, but you have to remember, when they're giving advice, a lot of times they're talking about someone that already makes 6 figures, and where they're talking about 6 figures, they're talking about like 500,000 plus. They're not talking about the people that make $25,000 a year, but you can dissect the advice and go from there. That's what I did. I took advice, and I would read an article, maybe 1,000 words, and 2 of the bullet points, reflected on my life. So I took those 2 bullet points and I used them to help grow my business. So now we're in the day and age of bloggers, YouTubers, business consultants, strategists. Find 2 or 3, not 5, not 18. Do not follow every business strategist consultant online, because you know what? Their information is going to be conflicting. I'm not even telling you, hey, you have to follow me. If you don't feel that I'm your cup of tea, find someone that's your cup of tea and take their advice and use it to grow your business. That's what you need to do. You don't need to say, follow 18 people and then get lost in the muck, because you're listening to 18 voices, and guess what? Whose voice is the lowest and quietest and you can't hear? Your own voice. your own voice disappears because you're listening to everyone else and they're all in your ear, they're in your head, in your mind. It's a no-no. It's time to clear the clutter. If your timeline is full of business strategists, go to each one of their blogs. Read as much articles as possible, then narrow it down. So if you start at 20, narrow it to 15, then narrow it to 10, then narrow it to 5, then narrow it to 2 to 3. That's it. That's all the people you need. And then on top of that, if you like those 2 or 3, find out which one you can afford as an actual consultant and start working with you. Because when you're reading advice online, it's generalized. I always tell you that. My blog posts, my Instagram posts, these YouTube videos, they're generalized. They're not special or catered to you and your business needs. And for you to actually grow, you need someone that's actually giving you specific advice to grow, not generalized advice, because generalized advice anyone can give and anyone can take. So when it comes to information overload, make sure you're digesting the right things. Make sure you're allowing the right people to pour into you. Even when it came to friendships, I didn't listen to all my friends when it came to them giving me advice about my business. I mean, I love them, but they never ran a business. I mean, it was great to get a consumer standpoint, but as a business standpoint, they just didn't get it. Now, I have so many friends that run businesses, and it's the greatest thing in the world because we can text each other and talk about what's going on and ask advice, and it's just amazing. Like when I sit there and think about, I have friends that own multi-million-dollar companies. It's inspiring, especially when I know they're less than 5 years old. It gives me the push to keep going as an information-based company that's helping women entrepreneurs. So when it comes to your information overload, be selective, watch who's pouring into you, and get specific advice to your business. Don't just read every Pinterest article that you come across. Don't just read every article on Business Insider. Make sure it's catered to your need. Right now, I'm scaling my company, so I focus more on how I can scale my company without bringing investors, without doing a Kickstarter. How can I grow my company in that sense? So that's the articles I gravitate towards. I gravitate to the articles that are about team building, small teams, and how you work together, and articles about, and employment and everything else in that nature. So that's what I focus on. If you're in this early starter stage, you know the basics. Get your LLC, get your EIN, get a DBA, get a website, get your email up and going. Those are the basics of business. They don't change. Trust me, they don't change. You need those basics. Then you go from there. Setting your goals, learning who your target audience is. You shouldn't be thinking about running a multi-million-dollar business if you're not even bringing in $5. Yes, it's something you want to do, but you need to bring in the initial $5 first. So I hope that helps you with information overload and how you can find the right information for your business. I will link some of my favorite blogs and resources below so you can check them out. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them and I'll get back to you soon. Talk to you later. Bye.